What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. My name is still Eric. Always has been, always will be. Except when you call me Wenjun, which is my Chinese name for some reason. So today I'm driving a Xiang 1. It is a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, so not fully electric. And I'm just gonna drive around and show you what this car is like from a first-person perspective. A couple things I'm gonna talk about today. One is this car a little bit. I'm actually going to be working on a more of a thorough kind of review or my thoughts on the car in another video, which will come out after this one. But I will give you some impressions of driving this car, and you can actually also see while I drive. I'm also going to do a little bit of the autonomous driving that Xiang offers. And then I'm also going to talk about, hopefully, a little bit about what life is like in China currently, because I keep getting questions from viewers about what's life in China like right now, because as probably most of you know, there's quite a huge outbreak of COVID, relatively speaking, by China standards in Shanghai right now. And so, let me get over here. I think, oh no, I can stay in this lane. Yeah, so a pretty big outbreak of coronavirus in China, in Shanghai. And that has had some knock-on effects for even here in Shenzhen, and probably the rest of China. So first I'm gonna talk about the Xiang, and second talk about what life's like in China. So let's get going. So I've had this car now for about a week, I would say, and I am enjoying it. Oh, here's a line for coronavirus testing right here. Look at how long that line goes. So anyway, I've had this car for about a week, and I really wanted to do like a full range test. Like I said, it's plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, so it has a petrol engine or a gas tank. It also has electric battery, which is 45 kilowatt hour battery, 45 kilowatt hours, yeah, battery. So they claim 1,000 kilometer range, which probably in the real world is more like 700 kilometers, which is more like what, 500 miles, 400 something miles. So I wanted to do that, even though it would have cost me quite a bit of money to fill up this tank, which is 55-liter tank, and it takes premium fuel. But right now, traveling in China is kind of a bummer, even worse than it has been. If you've seen my other traveling videos, driving around recently, you know I have to get COVID tests all the time. Even here in Shenzhen, I have to get COVID tests all the time. But since there's kind of like, you know, been a little bit of an outbreak, they're much more serious everywhere. These down here in Guangdong, it seems like everywhere is checking everything very thoroughly. A lot of places are closed down. Again, I'll talk about that later. So anyway, so I haven't been able to really go on a road trip with this car. I'm actually probably going to return this car today. They gave it to me for a week. They said I can even hold it longer if I would like, but I'm probably going to return it today just because I've been accumulating like parking fees and fuel fees and stuff, and I already have a car, and I don't really make money from this channel, so I don't want to waste too much money driving this car around all the time. So I haven't got to do a full range test, unfortunately. But other than that, this car has been it's been a pretty pleasant experience. I quite like the car. So while we're parked here, let's go over here. You have these 3 displays, which really cool. Over here, if I had a passenger, they could watch a movie even while the car's driving. I think this is the only car that I know of that has that, where you can watch a movie while the car's operating. And the L9, which is Xiang's next car, which is launching soon, also has displays in the back for kids to watch films and everything like that. So that's cool. You can have a lot of stuff over here. There's also other apps you can use besides movie apps. Here we got more information, tons of stuff. Actually, that's one of the things that I guess, I don't know, for somebody who's only had the car for a short time, you know, driven it quite limitedly, not, you know, don't have the car every day. Some of the stuff in here is kind of overwhelming. There's so many options and menus, and even down here is another screen which you can fully customize. It's kind of like a home screen, quick select screen. I think that if you have this car, and it's your car and you fully customize it how you want, it's probably really cool. But as a person that's just like testing it for a short limited amount of time, there's so many options and so many things you can do. It's kind of like a little bit overwhelming, to be honest with you. And I will say also that I find that some of the stuff is not super intuitive. It could just be me. I'm used to like iPhone operating system, and I'm used to Tesla and Neo, and I would say that all of those are pretty straightforward and easy to figure out, intuitive for the most part. They all have their own quirks, of course, but with this car, even though it has English menu, here's the menu, some of the stuff is still quite confusing. Not confusing, just it takes some time to get used to. Like I would say, for example, I might have to show you this later, but I was parked and I wanted to put this TV screen, the video, on the center console right here. So I was going through all these menus for a long time. I was trying to figure out, like, going through display, all this stuff, right? And I couldn't figure out how, for the life of me, how to get the video to be on this screen. So then I contacted the Xiang people that have lent me this car, and they were like, well, you actually just tap on the screen over here, just tap on it when the movie's playing, and then a little button will appear on that side, and it's like an image of a screen and an arrow pointing this way, and so that moves the screen over there. So like, obviously once you know how to do it, it's very simple, very easy to figure out. But like, I'm not sitting in that seat, right? I'm sitting in the driver's seat. I want to watch a video here on the center screen. So I feel like there should be a way, intuitively in my mind, there should be a way to just like swap the screens or do something like that. However, that's not the case. But once you get used to everything, I think it's probably pretty good. I do like the 3 screens. I remember when I took a test drive of this car, probably over a year ago now, maybe about a year ago. I remember really liking the interior of the car. It's very spacious, very roomy, and I really liked the displays here. It's great. Let me go back to the map. So you have this map here, you have a map here. There's no heads-up display. So I like all of this. It's very simple, very clean, very elegant. But actually, like, functionality, and first impressions on functionality are that like it's a little bit more complicated than other vehicles I've driven. But again, once you know what you're doing, it's probably pretty easy. Other things that about this car that I really like, very similar to the Neo in that all the materials throughout are really good quality, really soft, like leather or fake leather maybe here. You have ventilated seats, you have heated seats, heated steering wheel, all that good stuff is included. The only thing I don't really like is this, especially compared to the Neo. This just feels kind of cheap. It's like plasticky, more like a traditional car, which I don't know, it's fine, but it's not that nice. It's not that elegant in design. Other things, you know, just the main thing is that this is like a family car. Very much not a car for a single person driving around by themselves. This is if you have a couple kids, you want to haul some stuff. It's huge. Like, if you want a car that really have a presence on the road, whether it's like a presence like visually, it's a big car, it's a striking car from the outside, but even inside you really feel like you're in like a beast of a car. It feels heavy compared to other EVs I've driven. It feels very heavy. Like, you feel the road in the sense that like you're not coming off the road. Even you accelerate, like, I don't know how to describe it, like kind of in like a Tesla, for example, when you floor it and you just feel that zoom. You do feel the bumps in the road and stuff, but you don't necessarily feel like you're like attached to the road. This car, I feel like I'm just like sunk into the road, and I feel like I'm just like a part of the road. Like it's like a tank. I don't know, there's another line of COVID people testing, mass testing everywhere. I would say that you'd have to experience driving it to know the feeling, because I'm not very eloquent and I don't really know how to explain this feeling, but you just feel really, really heavy when you're driving this car. And I don't know if that's a function of the gas engine or not. I'm not entirely sure. You know, it has a gas engine, but the gas engine doesn't power the car. acts as a generator to the electric motors in the wheels, from my understanding. So I'm not an expert on cars by any means, but that's my understanding. And when I have on the gas mode, right now it's fully electric because I don't have any gas in the car. But when I have it in gas mode, it does say that it's going to be more loud and have more vibration. Like when you select it down here, it tells you that. It says you may experience vibrations, more noise, but I personally couldn't tell the difference. The car is very quiet. You can probably tell just by listening. The car is very quiet, and it really is a comfortable, nice car to ride around in. Let me turn these on. I really can't say that I have very many complaints about the car. Like, if you want to have a nice, big, huge, kind of like a Chinese version of like an Escalade or a Yukon or even like a Ford Explorer, I'd say this is pretty comparable, and it's electric-ish. It can go about 180 kilometers only using the electric battery. That's what it's rated for. So again, probably say 70% of that number would make more sense. Probably 120 kilometers fully electric, and then it'll start using the gas motor. Or you can set it to hybrid mode, or you can set it to fully only fuel mode, whatever you want. And again, I guess about this car is the learning curve with the car. Once you own it and you know how you're going to use it, it's probably a lot more easy. Like you know what you're doing. And I've never driven a plug-in hybrid before, so this could be same thing with all of them. But like, I was driving the car and I set it to first I had it on a hybrid mode, like fuel and electric. And so once the fuel started running down, like I said, I'm now at 24 kilometers, and also the electricity started running down. I was down to like 20 or 30 kilometers electricity. I set it to fully electric. I didn't want to run out of gas for some reason. I don't know, maybe it's my old style of thinking, but I didn't want to run out of gas. So I set it to electric, but the gas kept on going down. And so again, I asked the Xiang people, I said, why is it's on electric, why is it using gas? And he said, well, if it has less than 20% electricity, it's going to use gas until it runs out of gas, because you don't want to run out of electricity. You don't want to run out of the battery, because that's not good for the car. Just like a Tesla or a Neo or any other car, you don't want to run out of electricity and fully drain the battery. So okay, that makes sense, but it's not intuitive in the sense that like just a straight gas car or a straight electric car would be. So yeah, overall though, I would say this car's pretty good. I do like driving it. What else is there to say about it? There's only one configuration of this car. So like for Neo, for example, there's tons of varieties and variables you can get when you fill out your car, when you book it. Even like my car, I have customized like lettering basically on the side of my car. So there's lots of customization and options you can do. Whereas with the Xiang, there's basically one configuration. If you want to pay more money, you can get a different color. But aside from that, what you see is what you get when you go and book a Xiang. There's no option for a heads-up display, which sucks. I have to look down here for my map. There's no option for like larger battery or anything like that. Yeah. So I guess that's my impressions of the Xiang. I'm gonna set the autopilot on real quick. So autopilot's here. You double click. There you go. You double click that. So it has a couple different types of autopilot. Like here's the fully autopilot. You can see it here. It has the visualization over here. And hopefully it will drive safely. There's a police van. And it also it has the full autopilot on certain roads like this. It's about to run out. It says in 200 meters, 60 meters. Then it's just going to be lane assist. Okay, so now it's just lane assist and speed assist, like cruise control, intelligent cruise control. So it only does it on certain roads and highways. Okay, we're approaching a car up here. It's going to start slowing down. There we go. I'm not quite sure how to make the following distance reduced. Like in the Neo, for example, there's just a button right here. You can reduce the following distance. Here, there's no visualization for it, and I don't know how to do that. From my experience driving this car so far, there's been a couple times where I've been like, okay, start slowing down, and it eventually does, no problem. But I do like to have a little bit of following distance, especially when it's the car's driving itself. I mean, anytime when I'm driving too, I keep a distance just to be safe. So right now it's fine. We're going 60 kilometers an hour, and we've got probably 4 car lengths distance it's maintaining. And there must be, I'm sure there's a way that you can toggle like how far distance you want. I'm just, again, like, I don't want to straight compare this car to that car. Every car is different. They have their own way of doing things. But my initial impressions of this car, even after a week, are that like it's a little bit less straightforward on how to do stuff. Like even these buttons here are a little bit less, I'm not exactly sure what they are, some of them, like the asterisk button, the star button. You know, like I don't know what that does. Anyway, so that's Xiang. I'm still in autopilot right now. So let's talk about living with COVID in China these days. It's been quite frustrating, I'll be honest with you. You know, I really appreciate what has been done here in China to keep people safe from coronavirus. But zero COVID policy cannot be the policy forever. And you know, something like 80% of the population is vaccinated. I know there's a lot of old people that aren't vaccinated yet. And I know there's some questions about the quality or the, yeah, I guess you could say the quality of the Chinese vaccines. But if that's the case, then bring in other vaccines, or, you know, I don't know how to talk about this, to be honest with you. But I will say that, how about this? I don't mind like scanning a QR code to check in. I don't mind any of that stuff. But it's 2 years on now, and it just can't go forever. And even like, I went to Hainan, and they're calling me, Shenzhen health people are calling me every day like, we noticed you haven't got your QR code, you haven't got your PCR test recently in Shenzhen. I'm like, dude, I'm in Hainan. I did my test here. Because all the apps are, each province has their own app basically. I'm like, I did my, they don't connect, is what I'm saying. So there's a Hainan province app, there's a Guangdong province app. And so hey, I got my COVID test down here. I'm like, okay. And the next day they call me, oh, you haven't got your COVID test. Blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, all the time, like, hey, I did it already. And again, it's not like a big deal. It's just like, it's just so annoying, you know, after a while, like I'm glad people are taking it seriously. I'm glad that they've probably saved quite a few lives by what they've done. But like now that, like, especially in Shanghai, it's rampant, right? It's everywhere. Obviously you don't want it to go even further, but like, okay, so we had like 2 cases or something the other day in Shenzhen, like hardly any. I think it was more than 2. But like, so after I came back from Hainan, we had a couple of cases in Shenzhen, and I went to go eat some food, and the restaurants wouldn't allow indoor dining, so that, okay, or any dining at all, let's be clear, not outdoor dining too. They had some outdoor tables. There was nobody around. I got my food to go, and then I sat at the table, there was nobody there, Okay, so my GoPro battery just died, so I guess that's the end of this video. Okay, take over manually. It just told me to take over manually. But the end of that story is that I had food. I was at a table outside with nobody around, and they're like, you can't sit here at our table, but you can take our chair, move 10 meters away, sit away from the table so that they don't get in trouble by whoever's gonna come check them, and then eat. Like, it makes no difference. But those are the rules. And so living with COVID now in China, one other thing I guess too. And then so I took this car, the Xiang, to the beach 2 days ago. Shenzhen has a couple beaches. It's kind of in Shenzhen, like an hour drive-ish away. I was gonna go surfing, right? And so got to the beach, and they said, okay, well, you can drive up here to the beach when we got to the parking lot area, but you cannot go in the water, you cannot go on the sand. Like, there's like 2 cases in Shenzhen. I think it was 2. I don't know. Maybe 2 symptomatic cases, something like that. Like, hardly anybody. And everybody's getting tested every day. So you can't go in the water, okay? You can't go on the sand, but you can drive in there and like look at it. So, and again, obviously because you're not allowed to go in the water or go on the sand, there's nobody there. But seriously, there's nobody there. Why can't I just get out of the car and walk around? They're like, no, you can park in the car and look around, but you cannot do anything else. So I'm like, at this point, like, this virus is, I'm over it, and that's how it's gonna be. I don't know. So bye-bye to this car. I'm gonna go drop it off here in a little bit, and I hope you enjoyed driving in the Xiang today. Bye-bye. Thank you for watching.